Welcome. It's our final edition of the Baseline for the Australian Open 2017. Nick McCarville here. Of course, we've been crunching the numbers with Dr. Marco Reed. There's been a lot of numbers that we've crunched, right?
We have indeed.
Yeah, all right.
A few more to go.
We've got one more set, exactly. It's Roger Federer against Rafael Nadal in the final. Let's start with work rate. It looks like on paper that these guys have had to work the same amount this tournament, but that's not the case, right?
Yeah, when we look at something like total games played, 9 more for Rafa. Total sets, same number.
Right.
How total shots, 860 more for Rafa. In terms of total work, 70% more work done by Rafa on the way to the final.
Wow, that's a big difference, 70%. And that's actually, you can break that down per shot, right?
That's right. He's done 29% more work per shot than Roger across the 6 matches so far.
Okay, so lots of work for Rafa, but let's look at when Roger Federer is pushed to work more or less in a point, what actually happens and what does he have to do in the final against Rafa?
Well, look, we've picked up some interesting trends over time for both Rafa and Roger. When we look back to 2012, we see both individuals doing more work per shot than they are right now. A gap existed in 2012 in terms of work done, Rafa over Roger per shot. That same gap exists now, but both individuals are just doing less.
Okay, less work, but then let's look at when Roger Federer is perhaps made to work more in a point. That spells bad news for him versus 2017. He has been able to keep that work rate very low and success.
That's right. 300 units per shot has been that threshold for Roger. As soon as he's been forced to work above that and work more than his opponent, the danger zone you're describing. 2017, playing really attacking tennis, working considerably less than his opponent, dictating terms, and working at a low absolute work rate number.
So when Roger Federer is pushed over a certain threshold per shot, how can I kind of understand that as an everyday fan?
Look, remember, when we think about work rate, we're combining distance, speed, and the intensity of my change of direction. So when we think about a 300 unit shot for Roger, It's going to be a combination of those three. He may travel at high speed over a medium distance with a relatively intense change of direction.
All right, so Roger wants less of that in a match against Rafa.
Absolutely. And that's what he hasn't had in the past against Rafa.
Okay, very good. So when we relate work to attacking, obviously Roger wants to come out and attack the court aggressively. Is that right?
And we've introduced the attack score during the 2 weeks. What we've seen with Roger throughout the event, him sitting above that 50% line. And if we remember, that score measures unforced errors, winners, double faults and aces as a proportion of both players' performance on those measures.
Awesome. So where do we see Rafa and Roger both sit on that scoreline?
Roger above that 50% line. Rafa, on the other hand, early rounds, playing more attacking tennis, above 50%. In the latter stages, though, playing a more passive or defensive game.
Okay, Marco, when we talk about Roger versus Rafa, we've got to talk about the forehands, the battle of it. This is a match in 2014, and what are they trying to do against each other?
Typical of the matchup. We see Rafa peppering Roger's backhand, pinning him in that corner. Roger's got 2 options. He runs around, tries to take the forehand, attacks into Rafa's backhand, or plays down the line more aggressively with either his backhand or an inside-out forehand.
And Roger's been doing that more with the backhand, right? That down the line?
Particularly this event. He's been really effective with that backhand down the line.
All right, so here, though, if we stop it there, you can see Roger's run around, taking that forehand.
That's right, but he hasn't done it with sufficient quality, allowing Rafa to come back at him.
So let's take a look at a piece of vision here. We saw Rafa from 2014, but in 2017, doing something different with that forehand and backhand.
That's right. He's playing considerably more backhands this event than he has done in the past.
Yeah.
Previously, hit around 42% backhand. This event, he's up near 46. So he's using that shot and his forehand very differently than he has done previously.
Very much a willingness for himself to work through that point, right?
That's right. And here, in the past, we will have seen Rafa actually run around that ball to play the attacking forehand, either in to his opponent's forehand corner or equally down the line to open up the court.
Right, but one thing we saw in that semifinal against Grigor Dimitrov is he did run around that forehand more, right?
Yeah, that's right. He'd begun to shift. Specifically, up to the quarterfinals, Rafa was hitting 21% of his forehands as inside-out balls. In the Grigor Dimitrov semifinal, that increased to 29%, playing far more attacking off that wing, pinpointing that forehand corner of the right-hander.
Yeah, which is an interesting point because of the similarity of Dimitrov's game to Federer's.
Absolutely. And if he's able to use his work rate really effectively get around that backhand and pinpoint the Federer forehand to open up that backhand wing, it's going to be a winning play for Rafa tomorrow night.
So as we've seen with these guys in the past, there's been plenty of tense moments. What happens specifically off the ground when they face these pressure situations?
Both players tend to go to more central positions and lose a bit of ball speed, both on the forehand and the backhand. So in those clutch moments of the match, we can expect just that to happen. So it might be a matter of which player, Federer or Nadal, seizes hold of that opportunity.
Okay, and then what about pressure points on the serve? A very important aspect to this match as well.
And this is intriguing because we've seen Rafa adopt a particular approach on serve during the event, or certainly up to the Grigor match, where he was going wide out to that deuce court. Interestingly enough, on the pressure moments against Grigor, he slipped into old patterns or old habits, sliding that ball into the backhand.
Right, so that's a play that Roger Federer, because these guys have played so many times, is going to expect that Rafa serve into his backhand wing.
So Roger may well sit on that backhand return when the pressure builds during the match. Equally though, a real opportunity for Rafa to use that wide serve to the deuce court to great effect.
All right, very good. Thank you, Dr. Reed. Appreciate all of it. Lots for me to chew on. And for all of our viewers of The Baseline, thanks for tuning in. At the Australian Open, it's Roger Federer against Rafael Nadal.